I'm Streetside Anthony, and you're watching the Kranky Canadian. All right, everybody, welcome to another Monday night. As usual, I am fully caffeinated, and as usual, I have another guest who raises the bar on my show just by appearing on it, like Doug Bratton did. So, without any more hesitation, Laura from Bird City Comics, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here, Roger. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate you coming on. These Monday shows are a lot of fun for me, and the people that watch, we get to know people in the community in a little bit different way than they get to, take it in on their own channel. So we got 12 people watching. I'm sure more will be coming on. So we got Spine Ticks, what up, Sith? Doug Bratton, my last guest. Wesley Comic Collection. Emerald Knight, what's up, Chris? Chinmo. We have Roger's in there. That's a good thing. No Good Comics. What up, Justin? I had a pleasure of going out to the casino nearby here and meeting up with him and his wife. We had a couple drinks, and he taught me how to lose at craps, and had a good time.
I can teach you how to lose at anything. Let's go. I can show you.
Hood Rat, what's up, Ian? How you doing, brother? Rudy Tatagui, or Rude Dog. So we're caught up as usual, guys. If you have a question or a comment, put it in the chat, and we'll answer them as we see them, and keep this chat popping. You know how we love that. So right off the bat, Laura, tell people a little bit about yourself, as much as your personal life as you're willing to talk about, but not too much, because I do have questions. So sometimes I guess get a little overzealous and they answer like the first 4 questions just in introducing themselves.
I'll keep it pretty basic for right now. Most of you, if you do recognize me, that you've probably seen me on Comic Book Women. That is the all-female cast that hosts a show on Tuesdays over on Tales from the Flip Side. That's a great show. We had Lucy and Jen and myself, and then Trish Forstner has been joining us as our 4th. The other one is Nearing Nerdvana. We have our own channel that we do on Saturdays. You might see me there. But if you want to go way back to the beginning, I am the co-owner of Bird City Comics. My husband Anthony and I own it, and it's like the best job in the world because I get to hang out and sell comics with my husband all day. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you just mentioned Bird City Comics. That's my first question. So when did that get started, and where did the name come from?
Oh, man. Okay, so that got started, it was a couple years back. I think 2018 is when we officially became Bird City. So Bird City is actually a nickname for Arizona. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. So Phoenix, we have the Cardinals, and it's a bird. I think that's his reasoning. Yeah.
There's a theme there.
Yeah. So my son was like having a hard time, not reading, but just getting interested in reading. He was just so bored by it. He didn't like sitting down and reading in school. And so my husband and him were driving, and we're giving him this lecture. And Adam, he was like, well, Dad, what do you read? Kind of called Anthony out. And Anthony's like, oh, shit, I don't read anything. He's like, I don't really read either. And so coincidentally, they were going by a comic book store, and they pulled over, and both of them just got a ton of comic books. And it started with us just trying to support the hobby. We would buy something and then flip it. And then it just slowly grew into like this little business.
All right, so it's you and your husband, Anthony. Is it all strictly online, or do you have brick and mortar shop?
We are 100% online platforms. We use eBay, Facebook, obviously, is where we started. We have our site, but the long-term goal is to get a brick and mortar.
Nice. That'd be nice. Right?
Oh, it'd be awesome. I have like this vision in my head of how I want it to look. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's sometimes that's dangerous,
What the problem is in Arizona right now, the real estate's like insane. So you can't just go and buy a little spot. Everything's taken, and it's, I don't know. We'll see. It'll get there. But for right now, we have like 0 overhead. We have like a warehouse that we operate out of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do have some exclusives, though. I know that I've purchased from you guys before. So
thank you.
A couple of the things. So this Greg Horn variant is fire right here. And the fact that you get the 3 different versions for one price, you can get one where he signs it as well. I think the B cover, and then you have this C cover, which is a completely different cover in itself, These are awesome. I love Greg Horn. You have that Peter Porker variant on your site as well.
Oh my gosh.
With Spider-Gwen. That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
And then, excuse me, Darling #1. I don't know much about this other than somebody gets kidnapped or something. But I know that this is the Alessandro Michelli variant.
Yes.
You guys can get these on birdcitycomics.com right now. And if you buy the signed one, they throw in a free ash can with it. Do you have a brief synopsis of what this story is about?
The brief synopsis is the book itself is based on a character called Francis Darling. He is like an anti-hero. He's an addict, a recovering addict, and it takes place in New York City in the 1980s. As a Hail Mary, he tries to help the city find this missing girl because he thinks it'll help redeem him. Really cool interior art. Dave Mims did all the interior art, and it's fantastic. It's based off the journals of the writer, Michael Fleazak. His brother died of an overdose. And so he found his brother's journals and developed them into this book. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I plan on picking them up. I've really gotten serious into reading books lately, and I'm finding that all the good stuff is stuff I never would have thought I would have read, you know?
Yeah, I was surprised by that one. When I read it and I got to the end, I just kind of sat there for a few minutes like, damn, that was really good. He pulls from Alice in Wonderland and those themes of fantasy and the Wizard of Oz, and you can definitely see the correlations between his writing styles, and it's like tumbling down the rabbit hole reading that book.
Okay. All right. And I'm assuming it's only going to get better from there, right?
Yeah.
That's what you hope. So you guys have an Instagram page which started in like 2017, but you went like a full year without posting anything. So I'm assuming that 2018 is when the shop started, because you guys started seriously posting on there.
Yeah, I go through these phases, and I don't know if you do this too, where it's like, I'm staying off social media. It's toxic. I don't want to be a part of it now. And then I'll get off of it. And then unfortunately, it feels like, especially when you own a business, you kind of have to have them if you want to network and stuff. As much as I don't make fun of me, but I wish I didn't have a cell phone. I wish we could go back to like the days where we just had like maybe a pager. I don't like being so accessible all the time, so I take breaks here and there, but
yeah, well, fortunately, over the years, like I had Facebook for family and that kind of stuff. I only ever used Instagram for comics. So I don't follow a lot of people that are outside the comic community and vice versa, so I don't have to deal with that drama of the personal life and social media. I have done that with Facebook. I'm like, you know what, I'm just done with the drama, gotten off of it for several months just to clear myself. But because I've started Instagram strictly for comics, I have that luxury of being able to go there and not deal with the drama that's in the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting better with it. Anthony uses the Bird City Instagram is 99% just our comics and stuff, and then my personal one just has pictures from like years ago, because I don't know. I'm not big on posting my personal stuff. If I have a moment that would even be considered worthy of being posted, I'm not sitting there with my phone out recording it. I'm experiencing it,
You're one of the few then, because
maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah,
I think I'm old-fashioned.
Most people pull their phones out first. Some guy's about to get hit by a train and it's got videotaped by 15 people, but no one stopped to save him.
Like, what are they doing? They're just walking around with their phones up, just waiting for something horrible to happen.
They want to be the next sensation to hit, to go crazy on social media, be trending. I guess that's a thing, to be trending.
It is. Yeah.
All right, so let's first talk about comic book women. I learned about comic book women when I interviewed Lucy, when I was, first started following Lucy. You guys, your first episode was in October of 2020, right? You started, I don't know, I wish I had a better graphic, but this was your logo for the channel, because you didn't really have it was always like a video. But by the way, who the hell does your editing? I mean, your videos and especially the new one for Nearing Nerdvana. I mean, like, you guys pay somebody professional to do that, or?
Well, the comic book women was originally done by Anthony. He's like a huge techie. He can just sit there and figure everything out, and he makes it look so good. That's one of our biggest compliments that we receive on our live shows on Facebook is just how well they're put together, and that's 100% him. And then Nearing Nerdvana is actually Jen, my co-host. Her girlfriend handles those.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
She's
right.
really talented.
So 2018, you guys decided that you're going to start getting into comics. And how did you go from there to this?
Okay, so I was hosting the live shows over at Bird City Comics on Facebook. I was hosting our shows on camera. I used to like cosplay and everything at the beginning, but man, those outfits
during the live stream.
Yeah, like I would dress up as like Captain Marvel or whatever. I was all different characters. I did Poison Ivy.
I'm sure that was comfortable.
It was rough. The worst cosplay outfit was Black Widow because like it was like this sticky plastic onesie and it was awful. Like when I finally stood up, I just it wasn't pretty. Anyway, so I was hosting those and the shows started gaining a lot of speed, and then Dino, one of the owners of Tales from the Flipside channel, reached out to Anthony and asked if I would be interested in starting a female comic book podcast and hosting it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is intriguing. So then we found Jen first. She hopped on the crew first, and we were looking for that magical third to kind of complete it. And we found Lucy. She had been on the Drunken Chat with Mighty Mel V.
Yeah.
And I loved her because she has this infectious personality, and you pair that with Jen's incredible knowledge base, and you just had this perfect recipe. And yeah, we all kind of hit it off.
So it was their idea. You guys all in. Mm-hmm. You start your channel. And they basically made it like a playlist, which is pretty cool, right? Because you can get a link to it, and it has all your videos on there.
Yeah, if you go over there, you can just click on Comic Book Women on Tales from the Flipside channel, and you'll see every video we ever did.
So, what made you decide to? All right, let's start our own channel. How did you go from that to this?
Okay, so this was Nearing Nerdvana is a passion project. Comic books are our main hobby, but there's so much more to it than just reviewing spec and talking about the hottest covers. The girls and I wanted to go deeper. We wanted to talk about pop culture news. We wanted to talk about TV shows, movies, all the different realms of fandom that don't necessarily fall under the Tales from the Flipside platform, because that's 100% comic books. So we talked with the guys, and we're just like, how would you guys feel if we did this? And they gave us their blessing. They're like, have fun, girls, do your thing. And yeah, we gave it a go. So now if you watch Comic Book Women, that is comic books. We're talking about comic book creators, artists, all comic books. But Nearing Nerdvana, we go into all different areas.
Yeah, you guys. So everybody knows. So here's Nearing Nerdvana here.
Oh, that picture's so bad. I don't know.
Well, you should have taken it down, okay?
I know. No, the girls are all like, Laura, shut up. That was my nerdy picture.
No, this is it's a good picture. So it's you, Lucy, aka Mama Comics, and Jen, aka Comic Aficionado. Yep. So your first episode was April 1st, April Fool's Day, right? And it was just called Hello, and I thought it was neat because you guys you did a show to introduce yourselves and said, this is what we're doing. And this is who we are. Yeah. Was that that was your kickoff show, right?
It was. We just wanted to let everybody know, kind of what the point of the channel was, why they should bother subscribing to us, because there's so many channels out there. It's like you have to kind of be picky on where you go. But we wanted to bring more women into the community and have more participation from all the females that are behind the scenes that don't feel like they get to be included as much in the conversation as they should be. And we ended up picking up JoJo at Flicks and Comics. She's now on our show with us almost every Saturday, and she's fantastic as well. So there's so many really insightful women out there, and we're like, let's do this. Let's create a channel where they feel welcome, and we all just kind of hang out, and it's been fun. It's growing.
So it's every Saturday?
Yeah, we used to do Fridays, but Jen's work schedule shifted. So now it's Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same as Comic Book Women, actually. But Comic Book Women's on Tuesday.
All right. And for everybody watching this now or on a rewind, all the links to their the YouTube channels are in the description of this. So there's a link to Nearing Nerdvana YouTube, the Nearing Nerdvana Instagram. From there, you can hit their link tree and access all these girls, all the links to their Instagram accounts, the Women of Comics, and then there's also a link to Bird City Instagram. From there, you can get to their website, find all their books. They have, you guys do exclusives, which is pretty cool. You know, getting into those, you get some really cool. I'm guessing you have some sort of in with Greg Horn.
Yeah, Greg Horn, we work pretty exclusively with him. He's one of our friends, and we love working with him. He's fantastic. He's so talented. And yeah, a lot of the indie projects, I kind of head those up, and Anthony handles more of the bigger, like Marvel and DC runs. And I have one, nobody knows about this. I'm actually releasing it next week. We got Zoo to do our Department of Truth 11. And I got the final art today, and I'm telling you, Roger, it's stunning. I'm so happy with how it turns out. I can't say much more than that, other than just follow us and you'll see it.
Wow, but where's the picture of it? Come on, like you guys.
we literally just got the art today, so we submitted it to Image to get the final okay, and we'll be releasing it. I think we're actually going to show the cover tomorrow.
Nice.
On Comic Book Women, probably, if we have it approved by then. But it's one of those covers. Jen Bartel said that when she creates a cover, she likes it to be evergreen, you know, like it's one of those ones that doesn't necessarily follow the narrative to the book. It's just a timeless piece, and that's exactly what this is. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you seem pretty excited.
Oh,
I can't wait to see it. You guys are going to probably reveal that tomorrow.
Yeah, at the end of Comic Book Women, at the very end of doing our market report, we're doing the Enchantress tomorrow. So there's a lot of buzz because of the Loki show, and so we're to cover Enchantress tomorrow. And at the very end, if I have the artwork, I will show it on the show. Nice.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. So you got, like you said, you do a lot of different things. You did. I love the movie casting one. That was really cool. You guys picked a book, and you then each picked a book that you liked and what person you thought should play that role in a live action. I hope you guys continue to do that. That was a lot of fun. JoJo was on that one too, I believe.
I'm trying to think back to that show. We actually kind of stole that idea. Well, not stole it. We got permission for that idea
from Mel.
From Mel, yeah, because he does that, and so we're like, Mel, do you mind?
And you gave him a shout out during the video too. Yeah. So it's like, but you also, you have collecting comics. You interview people. You had shows about Funkos. There was one that was about horror. I think Anthony was on there with some other guests and stuff. So everything you've done so far is live. So is there any intent on trying to do some pre-recorded stuff, say when cons start back up, do some videos of you hunting or buying a book and editing it all together and releasing it?
It's interesting that you bring that up because we had Bird City Comics is actually teamed with Comics with Bueller. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't, right? And we had him on a comic book food chain show that I filled in for Anthony on last week. And we were asking him, what does better, live shows or recorded? And he said it used to be that live shows did better. But now the algorithm's kind of shifting and recordings are performing better. So we're like, okay, we got to give that a try. I think that you nailed it when you said to do something at the cons. I think that's what you're going to start seeing us do, kind of taking the phones with us and traveling with us and showing you guys where we're at and then editing it later, kind of give you a little bit different perspective. With the recording, there's so much more you can do. It can be so much more animated. You can add in sounds and all the after production stuff. So I would I definitely see that coming. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of doing the live shows. That's how this got started. But anytime we go, whether it's tag sales or whatever, between me and Everett and Dave, the other two members, we'll take video and whether I take enough to do my own pre-recorded or we kind of, all right, you send me what you got and we kind of throw it all together. But I think it's right. If you can put out a video that's 15 to 20 minutes long and pre-recorded, the algorithm seems to pick those up a little
The
more.
micro content. Yeah, but I like the live shows. There's something, I don't know. I prefer to be live.
I 100% agree with you. That's why I'm always on other people's channels. I love the chat. I love the interaction with the chat. I love the interaction with the other panelists on the that particular show, whether it's this one or. But you know what? Sometimes it's not always easy to go live, especially if not everybody's available. So those pre-recordeds are nice to load them up into YouTube, and then you're like, we can't go live this week. How about we just turn this video on? So. Yeah,
that's true. There's definitely benefits to it, and I don't know. I think when you go live, they get the good, the bad, the ugly. They get all of it. There's no. This is it. This is like the real thing, and I think there's something very appealing about that.
Yeah, you're definitely exposed. There's no hiding from that. And I've firsthand, thanks to some of the guys that are in the chat, have been a part of that, where I probably shouldn't have been live. And they got a lot of clips and plenty of laughs at me because of it. But that's okay, Let's see, as the newest content creator, I personally like the live streams much better. And there's a lot of people that feel that way, but like I said, like you said, if you guys go live once a week, there's something to be said about having something pre-recorded to drop in the middle of those two shows,
Yeah, fill in the gaps.
Get some eyes on your channel and get some subscribers up. Something you could share easily. Hey, go check out this haul video or something.
For sure.
Like I said, everybody that's watching, rewind or in the chat, all the links to Laura's YouTube channel and Instagram and Bird City's Instagram are all in the description of this video. From the Nearing Nerdvana Instagram, you can find their link tree. So it gives you the other people involved with it, Lucy, Mama Comics and Comic Aficionado. Their Facebook, I don't really use Facebook for comics, so I've never seen any of your stuff on Facebook. I kept comics away from there so I wouldn't get sucked back into that.
Oh man, it happens too. It's like that's basically all I use my Facebook for is for comic stuff.
We got a question from Doug Bratton, my man. Question for Laura. For new viewers, what is your favorite part of your shows?
So with Comic Book Women, we recently just kind of shifted that show to be more of a market report type style. And I like at the very beginning, before we even start talking about, you can find these books for this much, we spotlight whoever it is we're discussing. So it's not just jumping straight into speculation. We start by kind of giving the person some background. Like we did Marjorie Liu the other day from Monstrous. And it was so neat learning about her. She is brilliant. And so we spent the first 5 minutes just giving her credit for being a person first before going on to her books. And that would be my favorite part of Comic Book Women is that spotlight segment we do before. And then with Nearing Nerdvana, that's tough. Probably the Vana of the week. We end the show every single Saturday on some quote or meme that kind of gets you thinking a little bit. And most of them are donated from the viewers, or the viewers contribute in some way. They'll send us on Instagram what they want us to focus on that week. And I like doing those. I think it's a fun little like ending, and it just kind of caps the show off and leaves you thinking. If that's
I saw the last one I saw was a quote from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, that was Garrett
Frodo.
Gunn. Yeah, Garrett Gunn, he was the writer of Warcorns, and he chose that one. So it's neat because you get to see what people think. There's really like no restrictions on it. It's like just send us something that makes you smile or something that gets you thinking. And we get so many. They just flood in after the shows, and we get to sit there and kind of scan through them and find ones that are good. And I like that part.
So Dollar wishes that we did 3 Men in the Basement Comics Clubs would do more Trivia Fridays. We just did one last Friday, brother. We 2 Fridays ago, our last we did a tree. So what we do, Laura, if you're not familiar, we'll every once in a while on a Friday we'll do our regular hauls, mystery boxes. Then we cut the feed and we go into an hour long of just trivia questions. We do 3 rounds, and they're 10 to 15 questions about comics, movies, and our channel. And then every round someone wins something and we mail it to them, and then the overall winner gets usually like a 9.8 slab or something like that. And
What?
it's just, yeah, we always have a lot of fun with it. That's what he's talking about there. It's been pretty popular, and we love doing it. But man, you can't give away all your books every Friday. So, but we did just do one too, because we're going live this Friday. So, not this past Friday, but the Friday before we did one. So actually, it was Otto's birthday. First 45 minutes, we celebrated his birthday. I made a little video montage of like 20 minutes. People from the community sent me video clips, and I put them all together. And then we did we did trivia, and as usual, Chinmo won all the prizes.
Oh, that sounds awesome! Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. That's trivia is awesome.
Fun. Yeah, you'll have to. For all of you guys who are only here to see Laura, please make sure you sub up to 3 Men in a Basement, and make sure you hit that notification bell, because you'll never know on a Friday where we decide, hey, you know what, let's give away some free shit.
Yeah, definitely do that, guys. If any of you out there are watching, and make sure you share this out too. This is awesome. I really am enjoying it.
All right, there was another. Birds Today is an awesome. There was another comment.
Oh, thank you.
That somebody made. Oh, right here. When are we coming on to Deal or Flip Side? When I'm invited. I can't go.
Now what?
I can't just show up on people's shows. I need to be invited, and I'm pretty outgoing. As long as I'm available, I'm always willing to jump on. Just ask Spine Ticks. That is his comment. Roger provides the best clips. You know, really for Spine Ticks, because it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday, my time, when I go on there. So they like to set me up for failure.
Yeah, it's kind of frowned upon to just jump into somebody's StreamYard, right? You're like, hey, I'm here. You are invited. There you go. He's gonna hit you up on Instagram.
Hit me up on Instagram. That's right. So one of the things I want, because you guys just started your channel, so you guys are like 220 subs, and one of the things that Everett, one of the other founding members of 3 Men, he's a numbers guy, and he always researches these types of things. And one of the things that we always pay attention to is the amount of views that your video gets based on the amount of subs that you have, right? So if you have 500 subs, if you have 1,000 subs and you get 300 views, that's pretty good, based on percentage wise. You guys are at 220 subs, and most of your videos are over 100 views, and some of them are at like 300 views. So you have more views than you have subscribers.
How does that even happen, right?
Like if you're watching that, why are you not subbing up?
We remind them over and over too. We're like, you guys hit the little bell, hit the little thumbs up, subscribe, and they just, I don't know how that happens. I wanted to point out that I think that's amazing. I mean, you guys are headed for some good things when you're at 220 subs, and you've got like, I think the 10 videos or something like that, 10 or 15 videos at this point. We're babies right now. We've only been around for like a month.
But like 30% of them have 200 or more subs or views. On a channel that has 220 subs. I think that's amazing. That's 150% more. More views than you have. I'm talking about. Like, we have 2,700 subs, and if my show gets 300-400 subs, that's good. You're getting that. That's a good count right there. For you guys to be getting 300 views with 220 subs, I think that's pretty amazing right there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun, and we get a lot of participation from the crowd, which we're excited about. We definitely want to start building faster, but it's hard. There's a lot of competition out there.
Another question for Laura: is there a comic book you are high on from a speculation standpoint or reading standpoint that you feel is under the radar for most of the community?
Something that's under the radar for speculation,
or reading.
So I recently started reading Basilisk, but I don't know if that one would be considered under the radar, because I do think that will eventually get picked up here. It's such a good story. Have you seen that one at all? The Basilisk book?
I have not.
It's this one character that has like a hive mind connected to her, and she breaks away from it. I think that one will be a good long-term one. Nothing like you'll see with Something Is Killing the Children. I got to think about this for a second. Something that I know he's making me think, like something that people wouldn't already know about.
That's what Doug does. Doug makes people smarter by making them think.
I don't know. We were on Nearing Nirvana the other day. We were talking about the Mother of Madness book. I do think that one. But that's kind of an obvious one too, though, because Amelia Clark is the author of that book, and you know that she already has connections in the TV and film industry. So of course it's eventually going to get optioned, right?
Yeah.
But that would be one if you have the opportunity. They did a Jen Bartel variant for Mother of Madness, and it's stunning. I think that would be a good one to pick up if you want to spec a little bit there.
The bunch of, I'm glad you reminded me, and I know he's talking about Basilisk as the great variant, but I was going to mention the one I bought from you guys was the House on the Lake.
Oh, that's Megan
Hudson
too.
Cates. Yeah, that's that was an awesome cover. I think he's talking about the Basilisk one, but same with Chris. He says it's a great read.
Yeah, that cover is fantastic. We did an interview with her a while back too on Comic Book Women, and she talked about how she always likes to, in one way or another, incorporate a tree into any cover she does. And so Basilisk was like right up her alley because she could put all these trees in the background, and that was a good one. What was the other one you were talking about? The Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah.
Something happened with that book over the weekend because it was kind of a slow burn at first, like we were getting consistent sales, but then I don't know if there was some type of announcement made or whatever, but it just went crazy over the weekend. We started selling one guy tried to buy 15 copies of it. And we're like, is something happening here that we're not aware of?
I think the word got out that the story was phenomenal. And so people if I don't buy a lot of books online, first thing I do is go to Midtown or I go, so when they sell out, that kind of goes this way.
Yeah.
And I would think that from what I understand it, because someone else told me they tried to buy one, they couldn't find one.
Really?
So I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know if there was an announcement. I'm not aware of anything. If anybody in the chat thinks, there was some sort of announcement, I think it's just because the word of mouth of how awesome of a story that first book was.
Is it I don't want to say it. Is it Tinian? Am I saying his last name right? I'm not sure if it's
that's
Tinian.
how I say it.
That's how I say it too. But I mean, anything by Tinian's good. So
and
I think
if we insulted anybody by the way we pronounced his last name, okay, we're not perfect, so please forgive us.
It could be. I guess it could be Tinian, like minion.
Yeah.
Who knows?
G Malo, what's up, buddy? From the Great White North.
Hello.
Oh, that could be it too. It's something killing children effect. People are like, let me get this now before I can't afford it.
That's what happened with our Nottingham book. We had the Nottingham variant. It was the V for Vendetta homage. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like this big old smile.
Yes.
Anyway, it sat there not selling for a while. And we're like, what is going on? This is a great cover, great story. And then again, over the weekend, there was this one weekend where we just sold out of every single copy of that book. And we're like, I don't know. Comics is a crazy ride.
Yeah, for sure. Especially people that are in it trying to get ahead of the speculation.
Right. And it's like, how do you even hear? He said Tinian. Tinian is the pronunciation.
Who said
Tinian? Back issue Polly.
Hey, what up, back issue Polly?
So we're close.
Yeah, well, I don't get hired for the way I talk. So one of the other things I think you do cool on your channel is you shout out other channels, right? I found this little beauty the other day. Look at this guy.
Oh, look at that.
Very appreciative of the fact that you guys
devil. Look at that.
Yeah, sure. That was the first round of editing thumbnails before we actually realized we had to start paying for websites and apps to be able to do it well. But yeah, that was my first version of Live with the Kranky Canadian right there. You guys went deep for that one.
Why do you spell Kranky with a K?
Just to be different.
Okay. I'm like, I wonder if there's like some like backstory to it.
Yeah, it's like the backwards. Like things always look weird when they're spelled in Canadian, so I wanted to kind of keep with that because they usually say things backwards.
Oh,
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, when French people speak, the way they write things, it would say instead of the red car, it'd be the car that's red. So when they try to translate to English, it sounds like they're talking backwards. That's why people make fun of the French Canadians who try to speak English. You didn't know that?
No, I wasn't aware.
Yeah,
Most of my Canadian knowledge comes from South Park.
Yeah, no. If you were like listening to my father speak English, like he would, throw the baby over the fence some hay, or throw the horse over the fence some hay. It's like backwards, like throw the baby down the stairs, her shoes. Like in French that sounds right, but in English it doesn't. Anyways, that's why I kind of went with the K, so it looked a little funky.
Yeah, I like it. It works.
And who's in charge of making your variant logos? I love these.
Oh gosh, somebody made this for us. Oh my gosh, I apologize if you were watching. Who was it that made this? Hold on, I will find out, because somebody donated. Somebody made this for us and just sent it to us.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that awesome? It's like the best band ever. So I don't remember who it was though. I'll look it up.
That's all right. And then how about this one?
Okay, so this one I can give you an answer to. We had Trish Forstner on. She is the co-creator of Stray Dogs, and she also did the illustration on our Stray Dogs It exclusive. You guys may have seen that, the It homage. It sold out like ridiculous.
Yeah,
but she was the co-creator on that. But she also, her career started out in My Little Pony. That's where she kind of like originated, and then she ended up getting Stray Dogs. But her and I were going back and forth, and she's like, so I have a surprise for you. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it, And I'm sitting at my computer, and she shows me Jen as a pony. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fantastic. Anthony comes back there. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh, I'm waiting for my pony. It'll be here in a second. Hold on. And he's like, oh my gosh, Lauren. So then she showed me Lucy's, and then of course she showed me mine. And she made the Nearing Nerdvana team into My Little Pony characters.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How badass is that? Yeah.
So Matt's calling me out here. He says it's a K because I messed up on the first ever graphic and I had to stick with it. Can't rob a bank with that guy.
That's funny. That's cute.
So what is comic book food chain? Like I find you on this other, like, how many damn YouTube channels are you on?
Oh my gosh.
Like how much content do you put on YouTube? I mean, that looks to me like you're a full-time YouTuber at this point.
I spend probably more time in front of a camera than I do off the camera, which is just, it's kind of crazy. So, okay, it gets kind of muddled. Comic Book Women is the show that I host on Tales from the Flipside channel. Nearing Nerdvana is my own show that I host with my two co-hosts, Lucy and Jen. That's our channel. Comic Book Food Chain is Anthony, the co-owner of Bird City. He owns that channel with Frank Gogol. He's the author of No Heroin and Dead End Kids. And Aaron Yee, who's one of our longest running peeps ever. He's one of our original peeps. And he also does shows with Tales from the Flipside. So that's their show. But I was on it last Tuesday because Anthony was sick. He didn't feel well.
Okay.
And so he's like, hey, Laura, fill in for me. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I was going through your website today, and I'm like, wait, what is this YouTube channel here? And I click on it, and there you are. I'm like, what the hell?
Here I am again. Yeah, that's a cool channel, though, because the whole premise behind Comic Book Food Chain is to offer the different perspectives across the comic book community. So you have the retailer, Anthony, the creator, Gogol, and the collector, Yee. And all three of them kind of come together and do their thing. And they have this segment. You need to watch this. It's called Drunko Vision, where they'll all be like taking shots during the show, and they'll take a comic book cover and like extremely pixelate it and compete over who can guess what it is. It's fun.
It's pretty funny.
It's fun.
Any coupon codes or discount codes new customers for
we
can use?
We currently have the code Darling in honor of the Darling book that we launched. It gives you 20% off your entire purchase. I asked Anthony, I'm like, is it only off one item? And he's like, no, we want to move these books as best we can. So 20% off for anybody that goes over to birdcitycomics.com off your entire purchase.
So Darling, just got to punch in Darling as a code.
Yeah, the word Darling, and it should go through.
So that's it, guys. The link to Bird City's Instagram is in the description of this video, and from there you can access their website, or you can just type in birdcity.com. Yeah. Birdcitycomics.com, right?
Bird City Comics. Yep.
Birdcitycomics.com, and do it that way. Whichever one floats your boat. So, who were you watching? Did you watch a lot of YouTube before you got started, or before I get to that, you're going to be keeping both YouTube channels. You're going to be doing Comic Book Women and Nearing Nerdvana. Or is the idea to kind of phase out the Comic Book Women?
No, Comic Book Women is going to stay. They have big plans for us over there on that channel, and it just got sponsored by Cover Price, so that was kind of huge. So Cover Price is now covering Roger
Yeah,
Eagles.
thanks, guy. You're the best.
Smooth talker. Smooth talker. So Comic Book Women's staying on, and that's always going to be the Tales from the Flip Side channel. We love working over there. It's fun. It's really engaging, and we meet a lot of people. And Nearing Nirvana is going to stay its own thing. We're going to keep trying to grow that. We've already had people coming trying to like absorb it. They're like, "Hey, why don't you just take yours over here?" And we're like, "No, we're sticking to it for now."
Good. Well, I mean, because you do touch on comics with Nearing Nirvana, but so I guess I never realized that you were strictly comics on Comic Book Women.
Yeah, that one, because I mean, if you look at the Tales from the Flip Side audience, that's more what they're looking for. They just want to talk comics, which is great. And again, it's such a passion for the three of us, so it gives us a concentrated show there, and then we can go past that on ours.
No, Tim, don't worry. You're still the king of hip hop, buddy. I would never try to take that from you. So who were you watching when you just, when you just found YouTube, found comic books talks, and before you decided you were going to go live yourself?
The only shows that I really watched on a regular was The Drunken Chat. And I never made it to the end because it runs like for hours. But I would always tune in at the beginning because I love Mel. He's one of my close friends, and he's just such a good person. And he's hilarious, and he's so insightful. Like, he calls it every single time. And he does this thing where he feeds the sharks, and he'll give them like little tips on which books to grab if you want to spec on something. And so that was a big one. And then I always liked watching the Hot 10 over at Tales from the Flip Side. That's another one that Anthony and I used to be on that pretty consistently, but then we got so busy that we just couldn't handle another commitment. So, but we were on that for a lot at the beginning, and that's a really insightful show.
So you had, in one of your videos, you said your first con was in 2019, right? Which kind of blows because you went to your first con and then a pandemic hit.
Right. People are like, "Hey, you've only been to one?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's all that was around." So
how was that experience? Like, because you were there with Bird City Comics booth, correct?
Yes, we had our own booth there.
What con was it?
That was Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our big one out here, and it was great. I had never experienced that level of inclusion in any environment I had ever been in. Like, you could just walk around and be dressed up as whatever you wanted, and everybody was so nice, and people would just kind of come up to the booth and just want to take pictures with us for no reason. And it was really neat. It was a cool experience. I think that the cons are just the backbone to this community because it gives us the chance to kind of meet each other in person, put your arm around the person that you've seen on camera a million times. And everybody was just, it was really neat. It was fun. It was very cool. Yeah,
we were able. So a couple months ago, they had the first really good comic show in New Hampshire, and a whole bunch of us went up, and we actually partially sponsored it with like the Pressable Deffects and East Meets West. So all those guys were up there. So, just to be able to see them all again after the pandemic, the first kind of con we went to. And then a couple of weeks ago, we actually sponsored our own comic show here in Connecticut, 3 Men in a Basement Comic Swap. Same thing. The Pressable Deffects came, a bunch of the NY Warriors showed up. Like, all these guys that you see in the chat or on YouTube came in support. It was a big success, and it was just awesome to see people again. So the end of this month is our big con, which is Terrificon, and it's in a casino, like a casino resort here in Connecticut. And
nice.
And it's going to be, there has been no other of the major cons yet. So it's going to be like the first major con since the pandemic. So I'm anticipating there's going to be, it's going to be awesome. There's a lot of people that I know in the comic community that have already booked rooms, for the weekend. And we actually bought a table at the show this year because we just were like, let's get a table, take some great video. Hopefully we're down in Artist Alley in that area.
Ooh.
But, as well as vendors, Gary sets up there, like, vendors haven't had a con to sell books at. And although auctions and eBay are okay, they don't make the money like they do at cons. So I'm anticipating some great deals as well.
Yeah, they're a lot of work. I'm actually curious to see with all these cons coming back if that does affect the market a little bit here because I mean eBay's been insane. You see these books going for incredible amounts of money. I have a couple I'll show you in a little bit here that kind of illustrate that point. So
Yeah, this one over my shoulder.
right.
It's like $7,000. It's like a $6,000 book right now. Like for no reason.
I mean, these prices is like, can they hold like this, or will the cons coming back make? I don't. Yeah, there's some speculation. You can speculate about that, guys. If the cons will affect these crazy prices that you're seeing.
Terry Vaughn, will you get some books CGC with the long wait time? So I actually received a CGC box yesterday. I've got 12 books in there. I'm going to do after we do this live show. Me and the brother, who also got a box with 12 books. We're going to do a video, but we gave these books to Lenny from Spineworks 2 months ago in New Hampshire, and we got them back. So
that's not too bad. 2 months?
No, that's cleaning, pressing, and submitting. I did pay it is expensive if you fast track it, but I paid for the fast track. That definitely means a lot. So there are some nightmares right now with the long wait times, especially if you happen to be one of those guys unfortunate enough where the mailman puts it down and it gets shoved in a corner and they don't actually receive it for 2-3 months, because
that's what happened to us.
Yeah, and you can't control that. It's a nightmare, and then of course it's however long it takes to grade it once it's actually received. But so far with Lenny and Spineworks, we've been having we've been fortunate to have good luck. So
that's great.
So do you have a private collection of your own stuff? Like how many books do you have? Because you only got into it like in 2018. So like did you feet first in the big books that meant something to you, or did you start to buy runs? Were you reading? How does that all come about?
Oh man, okay. Where to start? So a lot of people aren't aware that I was actually an art teacher prior to. So I became an accountant, but before I was an accountant, I was an art teacher. And so when I started doing comic books, I was automatically just attracted to the different types of artists that were out there, different covers that were out there. So I started with Art Germ, and yes, before anybody gives me any shit, I have outgrown Art Germ, but that's kind of what got me into it at first. I was like, there's this one cover that I'll show you guys in a bit that just hooked me in. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. Then I started appreciating the hobby, not so much for the reading aspect at first. I read now, but at the beginning, it was more just art collecting for me. I felt like just finding these really rare variants with beautiful artwork, and that's what kind of drew me in. Nowadays, I like to read indie runs. Not a lot of Marvel and DC for me, though.
No.
And then my personal collection's getting huge. It's ridiculous.
Do you have big books in your personal collection? Do you go out and search them? Do you find them raw? Do you have certain I'll have certain books that I'm willing to pay for, and other ones, well, if I find it raw, then.
We buy collections as a retailer. That's something that people come to us a lot. They're like, hey, I have a collection. Would you guys be interested? So we buy collections, and Anthony and I have this tradition that if we buy a collection, the kids go to the grandparents' house, and him and I will sit in the living room and we'll watch the movie Hook. I know that sounds weird, but that was the movie that was on during our very first collection that we bought. It just happened to be on, and we were going through it, and we were finding these amazing Venom lethal protectors and all this crazy stuff in there. So it's like our good luck charm. We put on the movie Hook in the background, and we order a pizza, and him and I just go through them one by one. We're not pricing. We're just trying to find something that we both like. And we had a collection recently where I found a couple 361s, which is nice. Yeah, that was my first big score. I found one at a garage sale.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. For $5.
That's awesome. That's what everybody aspires to do, right?
Yes, that's the best. But yeah, that's kind of how we do it. We get collections in, and then I'll kind of go through and I'll cherry pick. I keep a lot of early ASM in my personal collection, more than Anthony would probably like me to. He's like, "Oh, that's just a great book." I'm like, "Mine." I'll just pull them. A lot of Doctor Strange from. Early Doctor Strange. I have a lot of Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and ASM are my top 3 of the older stuff.
You can't use the product. Haven't you ever heard that?
I know. He tells me, he's like, how are we going to sell anything if you keep taking it all? But what do you do?
Mike wants to know if we think the market is in a bubble like the housing market was will last. I think some of the things are in a bubble. Some of those books that you can't explain why a 9.8 is going for $500, but old comic books like this one. I mean, will it stay at 5-6 grand? Maybe not, but it's not going to go much lower. And the books, the old Silver Age books, in my opinion, they are where they are. No one's going to be selling those books for less than what they paid for them. So, I don't think those books are going to go anywhere. But a First Bishop is selling for $600 right now at a 9.8. I mean, is that going to stay there? I can't see why it would.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you with the silver stuff. I don't see a lot of room for depreciation in those areas because there's only a limited amount. We don't even know, most of them, you don't even know where they're at, and there's only a limited amount in those conditions. The stuff like Something is Killing the Children is just amazing to me, seeing how that, even Stray Dogs, a Stray Dogs #1 sold for like 500 something. It's like, it's incredible. Those ones I think are a little bit riskier when you have these modern books that are just kind of fluctuating because people have such short attention spans that when they spike, then they'll drop and they spike and they drop. But if you want to play it safe, I would go with the silver stuff.
So apparently we got a lot of fans of Hook. Bangarang. That's so funny because when you said Hook, that's the first thing that popped into my head.
No, it's Rufio. That's the first thing you think, right?
Rufio.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I watched that a lot with the kids when they were young. So
yeah, it's our it's our go-to movie. It's like we get a collection. We already have Hook on standby, and that's what we do.
Looky, I got Hooky. This is hysterical.
I think I may have started a little tangent here.
Unfortunately, I think First Bishop is heading to 1,000 as soon as. Hey, you know what? I hope you're right because Everett and I just sent 20 of them for 9.8 pre-screens. So I'll bring it.
Oh, Flicks and Comics is so JoJo's on with us right now, guys. Hi, JoJo. There she is.
There she is. We were talking about you. Mostly good stuff.
Mostly, I mean. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
All right, so one of the questions I ask all my guests as we do our YouTube shows and Instagram posts and stuff, we're always posting stuff to stay relevant with collecting, today's movies and all that. Sometimes we have some cool shit in our collection that we don't really get to share because it's not kind of relevant with today's collecting. You got something cool you'd like to share with us that you don't really get to share on your own channel? That's
not typically relevant. Yeah. Although you guys are probably going to be like, okay, Laura, that's relevant nowadays, but hold on. So remember I was telling you that Art Germ is kind of why I got into the covers. It was this one cover that I found and I just thought that it was gorgeous. So here it is. Okay. You guys have probably all seen this.
1 second. Highlight this guy, man.
That's a good intro. All right, there you go.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, so this Catwoman #4, and it's again by Art Germ. But I mean, look at the neckline there.
Yes,
it's just a stunning cover.
I love that version of Catwoman, just like the Lao one that's behind me, the poster. I love that version right there.
The lace detail on the mask. I thought this was just beautiful, and I collected so many of these. I would say I probably have 50 of them. And nobody really cared when I first started collecting this. They're like, oh, it's a $4 book. But then it made it onto the Hot 10 recently. And I was like, oh, I was onto something. Now people are starting to appreciate how beautiful that is, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So that's one that I don't show a lot because it's not like a huge key or anything, but sure. I love the artwork on it. And this is one that I will always have hanging in my office. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I'll wait for you to ask anything else so I don't get anything away.
Okay. So if you were wondering what that clip was that I showed, that was one of the clips that came from a Spine Ticks night where I went on there at 1 a.m. after hanging out at Everett's house. And I was pretty intoxicated. And Steve, a.k.a. Sith Lordly, someone was trying to show a book. And he was having trouble with StreamYard, and I didn't realize it, so I started yelling at him to highlight the guy. Like, highlight that guy, would you? And everybody kind of thought that was funny, and then someone drew a picture of me drinking a bottle saying, highlight that guy, and it turned into that little...
That's the best part of streaming live, right? All those crazy little moments that you don't expect. And
Spine Ticks, he has all the clips, trust me. All right, so what's your favorite comic in your collection?
Okay, so favorite comic in my collection. Again, sorry, I keep leaning over, but
That's
I put
all right.
everything on the ground. You already know what this is.
Middleton, yeah.
Yeah, and again, when I first started, I was always just drawn to the covers, and I think that this is, in my opinion, the most iconic Middleton cover you're going to see. I think it's stunning.
That thing blew up for a while there. Is it strictly because of the cover, or was there something else to that?
No, I think that was it. It's just that it's a really gorgeous Middleton cover that everybody wanted. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else that would indicate. It's just beautifully done.
Yes, it's a very nice cover.
I found this one in one of our collections while we were digging around. The guy had like 3 copies, and I was like, oh my gosh! And those all went into my box. Those are mine.
So are you guys CBCS fans?
We go back and forth. CBCS seems to kind of get things back to us faster. And then here's obviously now. Okay. Now, I like this because of Something Killing the Children. It's worth the time. But beyond that, Jenny Frison is one of my favorite artists. We did a whole comic book women show on her specifically and her style and her training and kind of where she drew inspiration from. And I love her. I love her use of lines, that very flowy, flowery feel that she does with everything, and the sepia color that she uses. She's fantastic. That would be if you could let me have any person do a variant for us, I would choose her. Anthony would have somebody else, but that's who I would.
And I think that, I dare I say she's underrated, because I don't like if she does a cover and people are like, oh, Jenny Frison, oh really? I feel like you get that reaction, but although everything she does is insanely good.
She's fantastic. I'm a huge fan of her. I really love Tula Lote. That's becoming one of my favorites really quickly as well. Lotte has this ability to capture the female sexuality in such a beautiful, empowering way. That's growing. I have a short box over there. That's all Lotte now. Anthony's like, Lauren, no more short boxes, but I have so many. So,
yeah. That it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. All right. Sorry. Those are the 2 that I brought. Yeah, then I saved my big one for later. What?
For later? You want to go on another show?
Well, no. Aren't you going to ask me what my biggest one is? Yeah.
Yeah. No, your favorite comic. That's the question right there. If you had to pick one comic,
then I have one more.
Okay, let's.
Shit, sorry, I misunderstood. I'm like, these are my personal favorites, but if I want to like flex a little bit, then.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Anthony and I, we have a little debate in this house about whose this belongs to.
Of course, it's yours, right?
Well, I told him like, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Yeah. So.
That's the way it goes. That is beautiful.
He's walking in here right now too. Yeah.
I don't own that book. It's that one and the ASM 129 are the 2 that I need to own but still don't. Yeah,
this is pretty awesome. Off white to white pages. I would like to get it in a higher grade, but man, good luck there, right?
Yeah. So Otto has a 9.2 of that, and every time I go to his house, I have to look at that damn thing.
Oh man, a 9.2. I would be so jealous. Okay, now I'm
pages. Done. White pages.
That's awesome.
You a fan of J. Scott Campbell?
This is another great question. We did a whole show on Nearing Nerdvana about the whole art fixing scandal that happened. And as a former art teacher, I don't think that some things you're at liberty to fix. I used an analogy that Anthony gave me. He's like, if you're walking through a grocery store and you see a parent, parenting their kid a certain way, just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean you can walk over and parent the kid the way you want to and be like, I'm sorry, I'm fixing your parenting here. There's just some things that you just don't have the right to fix. And that was my stance on that. And I actually really like Campbell. Lucy's not a fan of Campbell. Her and I were going back and forth about this because it's not her thing, which is fine. That's what the comic book community is about. Being able to like what you like. But yeah, he did the oh my God, I'm blanking here. What's the variant he just did? Rogue. Yes. Right? He just did it. I'm blanking. He just did a variant. It's gorgeous. But yes, I am a fan of Campbell for the short answer there is I like his stuff.
But you're not a fan of the one he just did.
No, I like all of them. There's
okay.
there's not any that I can think of where I'm like, I like Campbell. Campbell has his own style.
Is that the negative space variant? Is that the one you're talking about? The
yes.
road? Yeah.
Yes, that's what. Yes, there you go. The green.
I didn't realize that was J. Scott Campbell. I just assumed that all the negative space ones were John Tyler Christopher.
Oh no, you can totally it.
Yeah, I guess if you look at I guess if you look at the character. Yeah. So you have 5 YouTube channels you're a part of. You're on Instagram. You have all this stuff. So if nobody knew who Laura was, and all they did was look at your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channels, what's something they would not know about you just by looking at your social media?
So I am a huge space nerd, and I'm not talking like Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm talking like Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey with Neil deGrasse Tyson. That is like my thing. Are you familiar with that show?
Yeah,
it came out in 2014, so it's not like new.
The Cosmos, they played it on regular network TV, but now it's playing on like Discovery or something like that too as well.
So the Cosmos is like my religion in a sense. Like I love watching that show. I've watched every single episode of it numerous times because it's a sequel to the 1980s Carl Sagan version. But anyway, like I'm a huge space person. Every single night for the last, Anthony and I have been married for 14 years. So for 14 years, every night we go out back just to kind of look at the stars. And some people will look up and they just feel so small, but I find it oddly comforting to look up there and just realize how insignificant but how insignificant we are and how eventually none of it really matters. Yeah. Is that super morbid? It's like, you're going to die. No. I'm going to die. Everybody we know is going to die eventually. And I find that oddly comforting. It's like, okay, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all realize that, don't we? I mean, you would think.
Yeah, but most people find that kind of terrifying, but I like it. I like knowing that we're made of stardust. I like knowing that we have a kinship with the trees, as Neil would say. And every night when I go to bed, this is something some people might know because I brought it up in the show. Anthony bought me a projector for my room that just goes across my ceiling. So at night I have a galaxy that shifts across my ceiling. Okay. And I can't sleep without it. Like I'm talking thousands of projected stars that just...
And you keep it on all night?
I keep it on all night, yeah. So if I happen to wake up, I just see stars above me, and that way I have enough space to sleep in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
If I could go back to school, that's what I would do. Astro something in astrology.
Astronaut? Maybe you can go up into space.
Oh.
Maybe you could be the first comic nerd to go into space.
I'll just call Jeff Bezos and be like, come on, throw me in there. You got extra room. Let's do this.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been almost an hour, and we're at the part that's called Rapid Fire with the Kranky Canadian.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I've got 15 questions. The idea is you try to answer them off the top of your head. Okay. I know that doesn't always work, especially with some of the questions. So answer however you want. Don't feel it has to be fast. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Starbucks.
Mexican or Chinese food?
Mexican.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
A hut on the beach or a castle in the clouds?
Castle in the clouds.
Morning or night person?
Night.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, real or fictional, who would they be?
Well, that one's going to take me a second. Dinner with 3 people, real or fictional? Ooh. Damn it, Roger. Hold on. Let me think. I need like a day to think about that one. Okay, I'm just going to go what came to my mind right off the bat. Yeah. I don't know why I thought Jesus, but Jesus would be one of them.
Okay.
I'd want to sit down and be like, let's figure this all out.
Right, so you're going to have some sort of fish.
Yeah. Okay, so Jesus is my first one.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth. I'm a huge fan of the Tudors. That's another little side note. I really like history and I like watching historical shows. So Queen Elizabeth, I'd like to sit down with her and just have a little chat. And then who's somebody that's modern that I'd like to talk to? Ooh. I'm going to regret my answers later. I'm going to be like, oh, I came up with a better one later. I probably want Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln.
All right.
There you go. Those are my 3 answers.
Jesus.
Jesus is my first one.
Queen of England.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth, the first though.
The first, and Abraham Lincoln. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a dinner.
It'd be fun.
When you were 10, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, when I was 10, I wanted to be president. I was really into politics at that point, and I thought that I liked the idea of living in the White House, and I have a political science degree, so yeah. President. There
you go. Your date of choice, a fancy candlelight dinner or a night of dancing?
Candlelight dinner.
If someone were to play you in a movie, who would it be?
I've had people tell me that I remind them of, was the Pink Power Ranger. I don't know her real name, but I think I looked her up and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see some similarities.
Not a Power Ranger fan.
Pink Power Ranger fan, whoever that is. Okay. Somebody in the chat will know. Yeah,
someone in the chat. Put that name in there.
Yeah.
What would your last meal be?
Anthony makes me cauliflower tacos. I know that sounds gross, but I don't eat a lot of meat. And he makes cauliflower instead of chicken. And it's these cauliflower tacos on fresh tortillas with fresh salsa and guacamole.
So that's what you would have.
That's what I would have.
Last meal, last thing. Amy Jo Johnson was the name of that actress.
That's the one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chinmo. All right. Cauliflower tacos, meatless tacos.
You say cauliflower?
Cauliflower. You know what you said?
Cauliflower. Like Kala.
Like Collie, like the dog.
Not cauliflower. Cauliflower. That'll be a separate show. We'll just try to pronounce words the whole time.
Yeah. It's my Connecticut French-Canadian accent kicking in there, I guess. One piece of advice you would give your 10-year-old self.
Not to worry so much about what other people think of me. I grew up I guess that's for most women out there. You grow up just feeling so judged all the time and not to worry so much about what other people think. It doesn't matter.
That's a good one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I'd want to be able to control time, like manipulate time, be able to go forward and backward in time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And last one, if you could win an Olympic medal in any sport, real or fake?
An Olympic medal in any sport, real or fake? I mean, my mind automatically went to gymnastics because I used to do gymnastics, so that would be pretty badass. I think I'll go with gymnastics.
All right.
I can still do a full split.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true, Anthony?
He'll tell you. We were in Walmart once. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes, I can. So we're like in the middle of an aisle in Walmart. And I'm like, boom, hit the ground. He's like, okay, she can.
This is going to be a gold medalist in Quidditch.
Quidditch. Oh, yeah, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. That's awesome. You guys are coming with better answers for me than I would have.
Well, you know, he had a guy on his show who actually competed in Quidditch, if that makes any sense to you. But apparently then they have college Quidditch matches, and he played for college. And they ran around with brooms between their legs. I'm telling you, this came about on one of the Spine Tick show, and that was the famous video of the butcher being in the background. All of a sudden, you see him standing at a chair with a broom between his legs, going something Levioso, and like the entire chat just lost it.
I have a Megan Hutchinson original art that she made for me. That's Harry Potter. She did like Dumbledore fighting off Dementors. It's badass.
Rode around on a broom, chasing a ball in a sock.
That's awesome. That's so much fun.
And they actually showed a clip, and you could see Sparks in the clip running around with a broom between his legs. I can't even make that shit up.
No, that's pretty great.
Laura, this has been great. You've been a great guest. We went over.
Oh, thank you.
Went over on time. The time went by really quick. I really appreciate you coming on. So for those of you who weren't on earlier, some of the things that Bird City's doing right now there's a Greg Horn exclusive. You'd be nuts not to get all three. It covers A, B, and C. I think there's an option for Greg Horn. No, is that the Peter Porker one? That's the Peter Porker. That's sold out anyway. Forget I said that. And then Darling exclusive. This is the how do you say his name again?
Okay, so this is Alessandro Michelli did the cover, and the writer is Michael Flezak and Todd Hunt. They wrote it together.
So if you buy this exclusive and you buy the signed copy, you get a free ash can with it. You could find these at birdcitycomics.com or go to the link in the description, which has Bird City's Instagram. Also has Nearing Nerdvana's Instagram, Nearing Nerdvana's YouTube link. The Instagram will get you to their link tree. You can find Laura's information, Lucy, and Jen. And these guys are doing great stuff, guys. If you've never seen a Nearing Nerdvana show or a comic book woman, they know what they're talking about. They have great content, and they have fun with it. There's a lot of laughing and jokes. And I gotta be honest, it's like any of the shows that anybody that's in one of our chats, the more you watch, the funnier it is because you get the inside jokes. And I'm finding that with your show. You know, you know, it's really a pleasure to watch you guys. So,
oh, thank you.
This is the part where I'm going to highlight you, and you're going to tell the people what you got going on. Anything. I always say, if you got something to sell, now's the time to do it. Talk about your show, what you got coming up, anything.
All right, so guys, tomorrow night on Comic Book Women, we are going to be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are covering The Enchantress for our market report. So if any of you out there have been watching the new Loki show on Disney Plus, this is a good time to come hop in and check out some books we're kind of specking on. At the end of that list, fingers crossed, if I have my Zoo art in for Department of Truth number 11, I will be revealing that cover. We also have a Tula Lote. I mean, who doesn't love Lotte? Tula Lote Sweet Paprika book that we're going to be revealing either this weekend or early next week. So if you want to get updates on what we are dropping and be the first to get in line for those or to snag them up before they sell out, subscribe to the newsletter over at birdcitycomics.com.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Yeah. If Steve agrees, you guys are hilarious.
He's so sweet.
Ian, thanks, buddy. Great interview. It is an awesome guest.
And we're going on their show too.
Yes. So I was just gonna bring that up. I was like, she forgot to say they were going.
I know, I totally did.
Lucy did the same thing to me right on your show before she came on to mine. She's like, someone had to remind her. She's like, oh my God, that's right. I'm going on.
Yes. All three of us are going to be on Team Nerd on Wednesday.
So Nearing Nerdvana girls are going to be on Team Nerd Herd on Wednesday at what time?
Oh, I think it's going at 7 p.m. my time, which would be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I think that's when their show goes. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Those are great guys. You guys are going to do great. Listen, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you again.
And this was a lot of fun. I plan on having the third member on when she's available. Lucy was a great guest. You were a great guest. As well as I'm sure Anthony will be on as long as he's willing someday as well.
That'd be great.
Any last words?
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. You guys, if you are watching and you haven't for some reason subbed to the channel, please do that for us right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So on behalf of Three Men in the Basement, Dave in the Cave, Everett Otto, I am Roger Levesque, a.k.a. the Cranky Canadian, and we're out. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Good night, Canada.